It's August 14th, humid and overcast day here in Northeast Ohio. We've gotten some rain over the past couple of days and the humidity has really been high. I've seen it as high as 92. I think it's 90% right now. And they're saying that we're more humid than the Amazon rainforest. Isn't that crazy? The temperatures haven't been that high, but with the humidity, you just sweat every time you try to do something. Thought I'd give you an update on the gazebo. It's going slow, but I've been working on it when I get a chance. I've got the partially screened in. It's been a lot of work, and like I said, I haven't had a lot of time to work on it. So all I have left to do in the screening is the rest of this front wall here, and then I'll be all done, and I can move some furniture in and start enjoying it. The door too also. I have to put in the door. Waiting for last for that, just because it's easier to get in and work. So that's it. With all this rain and humidity, my Ohio palm trees are doing great. As a matter of fact, I've trimmed them once already, and probably be trimming them here again pretty soon. It's you can see how full they are, and it's only a couple months of growth since the spring. So well, 3 months maybe, because it is getting toward the end of August and the kids are going to be going back to school here pretty soon, and this summer is going to wind up. So getting ready for fall, which I like fall. I like the cooler temperatures, but don't look forward to the snow we're going to get, even though the first few snows are kind of fun. It's the prolonged snowy weather, and hopefully we won't get the minus temperatures that we did last year. I think the coldest I seen it here was minus 13, and there were several days in the negative. So that's it for now. Gonna grab another cup of coffee and look at some news, and hopefully nothing bad. Well, apparently Iran is making threats to counter some of the threats that the U.S. has been making, I guess. I don't know if this is all bluster or what, but they're calling out attacks on several U.S. states. And I imagine that if they're serious about that, they would do it through their sleeper cells, which, if I were a betting man, I would have guessed that they would have done something already. And maybe they have. Maybe we're just not being told about it, because you know how people get so panicky. So hopefully all that is just talk, and nothing happens, but try to be prepared. We lost electricity for no apparent reason last night, and it was only for an hour or so. I think it was supposed to be a little bit longer, but bad weather, just equipment breakdowns, whatever. You could find yourself in a situation to where no electricity and maybe no water. If the electricity is off long enough, the water pumps can't pump your water. So just be prepared. And I guess in western Indiana, they've had some pretty bad storms coming through there, and they're having some problems, and there's fights over gas and mile-long gas lines. And so not only could your enemy be foreign, but it could be domestic also. It could be your neighbors fighting to get something that they need for their family. And if it gets bad enough, people will just absolutely take it from you. Look at in the past, I know stores must have gotten better at this, but I can remember back when certain Christmas items people were fighting over, Tickle Me Elmo, a few other ones like that. So, and then don't forget through the COVID situation where people were fighting over toilet paper. So all this stuff, you should have stocked up. That way, once people come to their senses and realize that hopefully the supply chain is going to catch up, all that violence will be behind you, and you can stay out of the fray. So I would say, minimum 1 week. Have 1 week of everything you'd need. And I know I said it before, but whether it's a virus that hits and you can lay low, or whether it's some sort of social uprising or something like what Iran is threatening, you don't have to be out there putting yourself or your family at risk. So keep your head on a swivel. Things can happen, and like I said, probably for the most part we are under more threat from domestic crazy people out there that want to go someplace and delete people for whatever reason, a mental illness or whatever. So take care. I'm gonna get to work. Gonna have to put the gazebo on hold for a little bit longer. I've got to do some mowing. Got to stay ahead of that, or otherwise it just gets to be a nightmare to try to mow the high grass and have the clumps up everywhere. So I'll check back in later. Well, I got all my chores done. The field is mowed. It was really hard to mow. It was really thick and heavy from all the rain we've gotten. Probably the hardest time I had mowing it, and it really wasn't that high. It was just thick and heavy. And did a couple other things, and now I'm working on the gazebo again. And what I'm doing is, originally I planned on taking these walls, these screen walls, down in the winter time, but they were just such a pain to put up and get in place that I think I'm going to just leave them up. And a little bit worried about the strong winds and the blowing snow and stuff. So what I'm doing is I'm adding an extra layer of spline to hold the screens in place. And this spline is a little bit larger than the spline I used to put the screen in. So hopefully that will give it a little more holding power. And then if I get a rip in one of the screens, I can just replace that section. So I think these walls will just stay up. I got the last coat of stain on the remaining wall, and it's drying now. So hopefully tomorrow I can put the screen in and then move it out here into place, and then put the door on, and I will take a break from this and maybe come out here. Oh, I still got to put the furniture together. It's in a box. So I'll get that together, maybe come out here and be able to enjoy it after all the work I put into this. Earlier I spoke of the Iranian threat to do infrastructure and terrorist activities here in the U.S., and they even named a few of the states. I think most of them were out west, and then I think DC they mentioned. So hopefully nothing comes of it. It's just all bluster. But if it does, I can guarantee you there's going to be some major panic in this country, even in the areas that weren't touched. It will be definitely a good idea, if something like that happens, is just to stay at home for as long as you can. So try to make sure that you've got what you need for at least a week. Like I said earlier, it's you should be able to last longer than that, but a week is better than nothing. So if you haven't got that, try to work on that, and you can imagine what you need. And don't forget about the things that you want also. Who wants to get up in the morning if you're a coffee drinker and not have coffee to drink? Sure, you have water, but heck, I want my coffee in the morning regardless of what's going on in the world, if I can get it. So things like that, your comfort foods, make sure you have that, especially for the kids, because they're gonna, I don't know how I would have reacted if something like that happened when I was a kid. I was real young when JFK was killed, but I picked up on the panic and the fear that was. I think my mom, obviously was glued to the TV when that happened, and so I'm sure the kids are going to pick up on the uneasiness that you're feeling about whatever might transpire. So make sure you got comfort food for them and things for them to do. Maybe the internet won't be on if they like to play video games. Maybe have something that they can do where you don't need the internet, just to keep them calm and pacified. So anyway, like I said, hopefully nothing happens or comes of this, but if it does, try to be prepared. I'm going to get back to work here. It's starting to cool down a little bit, so I'll get a little more done tonight, and I'll talk to you later.